Hello. Hey, friends. Amanda Shep here from Stitching Life Together. Welcome to my sewing studio. Okay, tonight I want to show you. I wish you could really see how big this is. It goes all the way up to the ceiling. I just measured it. It is 8 feet high. Yes, I have a stool. Or no, 5 feet high, 8 feet wide. This is fantastic when you need to lay out a quilt. I am working on a quilt right now, um, where I wanted to be able to lay out all the blocks and not have too many like colors together. Actually, this is the last row I have to sew together. So we're gonna go ahead and put this up so I can show you what I mean. It's not gonna be straight. That's okay. It's fine if it's not straight. Don't worry. It'll be good. Okay. So when I was laying this out, I didn't want to have too many, browns together. I didn't want to have too many pinks together. So I have 5 rows. So I have the entire quilt on here. Actually, my husband's going to extend this for me a little bit more to go right above this outlet down here. So I can literally get an entire quilt top on here. I was able to get all of the rows on here. I just couldn't get the length of the whole quilt. So I had to pin the bottom row when I was laying out my quilt top. The beauty of a design wall. I love a design wall because once you get everything laid out, the best thing to do, I would leave it up for a day or two. And I would also take a picture of it with your phone. I don't know what it is. Something about taking a picture of it with your phone and then looking at that as well is a huge when it comes to placement and layout. So I had this whole quilt up here for probably a day, maybe 2. And then I would stand back and look at it, or I would take a picture of it and look at it. And I was able to see if my eyes flowed through the whole thing. And then I didn't oh, look, there's brown, this whole section's brown or this whole section's pink. I was able to stand back and be like, oh, this all flows really nicely together. So that was great. So once I had this laid out, and then like I said, I left it up there for a day or 2. Also, you can leave it up there in different lighting. If you have a room where you have windows and you can see it in different daylight and stuff, that's really helpful. So that's what I like to do with it anyway, especially taking a picture up with your phone. That's really huge. So what this is, let's talk about what this is made out of. I don't have a extra, this is just insulation board. You can get at the local home improvement store. I think they come in 4-foot sheets. So this is just flannel. It's just covered in flannel. There's nothing else. Board and flannel. It is all, the boards are all taped together on the back and the front. We taped both sides. I pieced my flannel here. And my husband screwed it in, which you kind of see the screws, but we got a paint pen. So we're going to cover those up with some paint so that you can't see those. So it's super easy, super lightweight. We did attach it. He's got 3 screws on each side of it. And it's just so much fun. My design wall was across from me and it was so small, I couldn't even fit. I can only fit 3 of these blocks on that little design wall that I used to have. So now I have a huge one. So it's really, really useful for laying out. And now I can actually lay out an entire quilt. It's going to be a game changer. Should have scooted these over more. Okay, next. Design boards. So as I was piecing these blocks, I had them laid out on little design boards. This is just foam core board that you can get at the dollar store. And then I just cut it up with an X-Acto knife. I know that you can buy these pre-made, but I'm a DIYer. I like to make things. So I have 4 of these. And then what I did was took a jelly roll, one strip out of a jelly roll, sewed it together, and then just hot glued it all on. The back is still plain. So when I was working on this quilt here, I had one board that had all my background pieces. And let me get something real quick to show you. I love quilt labels. So here's what I did. Some quilts I've done, quilt patterns I bought, have come with quilt labels. So BG2, this would be background 2. So, excuse me, when I have a bunch of different background, and I even wrote the size of this one on here in pencil so I can erase it and reuse it. These are from, this doesn't even go to this quilt. This is from a previous quilt, and I just save them. So what I would do is, I had all my background fabric laid out on here. So I had my BG2s, which was 4.5 inches. I would have that here. I would lay that here. And then I had another one here. And then I had another one here. And I had them all labeled with little quilt labels, pattern labels, which I just love. Just love reusing these little things. They're so handy. I did a quilt along last fall, and every one of them had those, and I just save them. I save them, put them in little containers. So DIY yourself some design boards. Let's go to the dollar store, get foam core board. This is actually, these are covered in flannel. I have this guy. I'm getting ready to have another beginner quilting class here locally. So this is a design board I made for that class. This is actually covered in batting, and it's the whole sheet of foam board. And then this is what I'm going to use in my class. I got my step outs on here so that I can show everybody to do the 4-patch quilt that I'm getting ready to teach. So super helpful. You can make your design boards as big as you need them to be too. So think about that. Just as big as you feel like you need them. These are my favorite. I honestly wish I had some more. Because when I was doing this quilt, I had background on one, I had my colored fabric on one, and then I would then you can lay out individual each block. These are really great to lay out on a board because you want to have, this round's all the same and this one's all the same. So it makes it handy to have a board. Okay. So design wall. This is right now it's 8 foot by 5 foot. It's getting ready to go bigger. We're going to go another foot down so I can get an entire quilt top on here. And then design boards. So inexpensive. Save if you have leftover batting. Perfect for using leftover batting. Because this was just a scrap piece of batting. I mean, you always have some kind of piece left over. So, and I just hot glued it on the back. Nobody's been looking at the back. So there you go. This is for my class and these are for me. So I hope you found that helpful and that you get some quilting in. So be sure to subscribe and follow along to share more quilting tips. Thanks for joining.